The landmark that I decided to write about is a quaint little country store and gas station called Taylor City. It's in Parsonsfield, Maine on the New Hampshire border. The reason why I picked the landmark is because it has a lot of importance to me and holds many memories. I started life in the town of Parsonsfield, then when I was 7, moved to Newfield. I've spent most of my life in Newfield, but still visiting my old town Parsonsfield every once in a while. I enjoy taking drives with my dad. We go by our old farmhouse where I once lived and where he grew up. It brings back a lot of good memories. A few things we enjoy doing on our drives are stopping at any old graveyards along the way. Some are hidden way back in a field, now overgrown, so we park on the side of a quiet dirt road and explore the graves of those who had walked before us. Most of the gravestones are so old you can hardly read them. You would think that nobody knows about these hidden graveyards, but once in a while, there's freshly cut flowers in front of one of the stones. Whenever we go on these drives to Parsonsfield, I always bring my camera, because I love taking photos, and you never know what you'll come across. One time my dad and I parked the car and started walking through the woods. We came across an old schoolhouse. That's one of my favorite photographs. You will usually find something you didn't expect, just like the landmark I picked, Taylor City. My dad and I like to find old foundations in the woods. So, much like we do when we look for graveyards, we park the car on the side of the road and venture through the woods until we come across one, which isn't unusual in this old town. Whenever we go to the old foundations, I like to dig around and look for antique bottles. I found a bunch. One of the coolest ones I found was a little glass Listerine bottle from the 1940s. One day, when my dad and I were going graveyard and bottle hunting, I suddenly became thirsty. It was a hot summer day, and I had brought everything imaginable, except a water bottle. My dad and I decided to take another way home, so we'd end up at a variety store we go to in New Hampshire. On our way, we drove down a long dirt road, and as I looked to my left, I saw Taylor City. It caught my eye because it had old-fashioned gas pumps, which I thought were pretty cool. And I was so thirsty I was a few minutes away from drinking out of the stream on the side of the road. So we stopped the car and walked into this country store, and were immediately greeted by a witty, charming old man, Mr. G. Earl Taylor. Taylor City is a small country family store that has been running for more than 115 years. Earl's uncle George Beale built and started the store in 1895, and his father Carl Taylor continued running the store until Earl took over in 1947. Earl was born in the year 1922. He went into the U.S. Army March 4, 1943, and served until November 19, 1945.
I landed in Africa, I went to Italy, I went to England, I went to France, I went to Belgium, I went to Holland, and I went to Germany.
After he was discharged from the Army, he returned to Parsonsfield and started working at the country store. He took over the store in 1947 and used around $300 of his discharge money to stock it. He and his wife Alice have been the sole operators for the past 63 years. They've had 3 children, 2 boys, Bill and Alan, and a girl, Linda. When you walk into Taylor City, you will always be in a good mood. Earl's a funny, down-to-earth person who's guaranteed to make your day. It's a very enjoyable experience just to step foot in the door, because it's like you're jumping back in time. As you walk in, your nose fills up with that old wood floor smell. You look around you and on the walls see all the antiques hanging up, and really feel the history of the store. It gives you a nice feeling inside, like you're going back to simpler times. Now going to Taylor City has become a tradition. Every time my dad and I take a drive to Parsonsfield, we stop, see old Earl, grab a soda or an ice cream, and leave with a good feeling inside and smiles on our faces.